this is WWE and ECW alumni, the Blue Meanie, and you're listening to PCW.
The question is, are you ready? Let me talk to you. I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I can.
What do you guys want to talk about?
I am that damn good.
I am the B-E-S-T.
And the color red in a world full of black and white. I am the eater of worlds. Yeah, if you're some man. Acknowledge me. The champ is here. But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here. Hey, yo. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of PCW Podcast Championship Wrestling. I am your host, Wayne, also known as Semi-Dry Chicken, and ooh, we got a great episode for you. It is going to be about
WarGames.
Oh, that's right, WarGames. But I am not alone. Let me bring out my co-host. Welcome back, Trey.
Yo, what it do, PCW crew?
All right. And we are not just a two-man crew, we are a three-man crew. Doyle.
Oh, it's me. It's the Doyle. Just getting ready to stuff my face tomorrow.
Yeah, dude. It's Thanksgiving evening here on the show. And did you guys remember you got to leave out a slice of pumpkin pie and cranberry sauce for the Gobbledy Gooker? I don't know. Is that how that works? Is that how it works for us wrestling guys, for us wrestling fans on Thanksgiving? There's terrible memories of the Gobbledy Gooker, if nobody remembers. I forget what year that was. Was that 97?
Oh, way before that.
Way before that. Why am I saying 97? Yeah, like...
the same day The Undertaker debuted.
Yeah, long time ago.
91.
Yeah. This was Vince's idea, I believe, right? Like this.
Of course.
Yeah, another terrible fucking idea. Like this, people are building up to what could be in the egg, and even we had all these ideas. It could be different of a wrestler, debut of a wrestler, a hot Playboy model, even, but not that. But I do have. I was watching it earlier today, and just the sound of the crowd, how excited they were when they got the Gobbledy Gooker breaking out of that egg at Survivor Series. And I'm going to play that audio clip, and I want you to hear how excited they were.
I think that egg is ready to blow.
Oh, there it is. What is it?
What in the world?
I
Oh my God! What in the world is this?
The crowd just was not having it. It was like dead, just boo.
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be a debuting wrestler. But part of the reason that never went forward is because of that reaction. You know who was in that costume?
Who?
Hector
Guerrero.
Oh, yeah.
Of the famous Guerreros.
Now,
So, yeah, I mean, the idea was that he was going to come in and be a wrestler in that stupid outfit.
Oh,
I don't know how
God.
the fuck that would work.
Yeah.
Because he does get in the ring and does a backflip and but the crowd just shit all over it, as they well should have. That was fucking garbage.
A terrible idea.
Yeah, and you know, like some ideas like that are just awful should just stay dead, right, in the past. But no, they brought it back at one point.
Brought it back a couple times.
Yeah, the most recently was to win the 24/7 title against R-Truth. God, that was a roll up by R-Truth.
I think the Gobbledy Gooker was in the gimmick battle royal, wasn't it?
Probably. Possibly. Most likely.
WrestleMania 18, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gobbledy Gooker's popped up a couple times. I think Maurice dressed up as the Gobbledy Gooker for some reason. I can't quite remember what the reason was. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, the Gobbledy Gooker's popped up a couple times.
More times than it should have.
It's basically comic relief at this
Right, more
point.
times than it rightfully should have.
Yeah, it should have been dead and gone and buried. And there's many things that are like that.
Well, unfortunately, one of the things that's been dead and buried, especially at Survivor Series, is Survivor Series matches. We don't seem to do that anymore.
No, we don't.
This is now the third time we've done WarGames, so we haven't had Survivor Series matches in either of those two. But in '98 they didn't have any either. But that year they had the Deadly Games tournament for the vacant WWF title. So like survival, I guess, is still kind of a theme there. And then 2002 was the introduction of the Elimination Chamber. They also didn't have Survivor Series match on that card. But again, Elimination Chamber, survival was still kind of a theme. But now we've just thrown that out the fucking window.
Well, you could say you survived the WarGames match to some extent. Even though you could argue that these matches don't have the same level of brutality that some classic WarGames matches have had.
Like I had hoped that maybe we would get the Wyatts and whatever carrying process stupid.
Yeah, I thought that's what,
not that I would want to see that match.
Right, but it definitely seemed like that's what they were building towards.
Yeah, it seemed like a great opportunity to do a Survivor Series elimination style match.
It'd be on Saturday SmackDown. Or Friday SmackDown. Yeah. So we got Survivor Series WarGames. Survivor Series
WarGames
at 6 p.m. on Saturday. So
it's the 38th Survivor Series.
Wow.
First pay-per-view in Canada since '98. Rock Bottom in Your House.
Oh wow.
And it's the third Survivor Series in Canada. In '97, you remember that one, I think, probably, in Montreal. And then 2016, they were in Toronto. And now Vancouver.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, the time's a little different. Definitely better than Saudi hours. Yeah, 6, I'm good with that. Get done nice and early. Hell, I mean, if we really wanted to, we could, but we won't. We could totally do a post-review, like, right afterwards, but it's like, we won't. But
something really incredible would have to happen to, like, warrant that type of response. Yeah, something like a CM Punk returning last year.
CM Punk. Yeah, that is true. Last year, I mean, I'm gonna read off the card real quick from last year. We had the women's WarGames match that was Bianca Belair, Charlotte, Shotzi, Becky Lynch, and they defeated Damage Control. That was Bayley, Asuka, Io, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai with them. Gunther was the Intercontinental Champion at the time, defeated The Miz by submission. Santos Escobar defeated Dragon Lee. Rhea defeated Zoe Stark. She was champion at the time, women's champion. And then we also had the men's WarGames match, which was Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, who also teamed with Jey Uso and Sami Uso, and Randy Orton. They defeated the Judgment Day back when it was Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dirty Dom, and JD McDonough with Drew McIntyre. It's before we had Carlito. Remember that. So, and then that's when we got, you had the huge return of Randy Orton, Big Pop, and then the wonderful return of CM Punk. And that was an episode that we covered. So, I mean, if you want to hear our opinion on that one, go back in the records, dig it up. It's in there. I don't know what episode. I don't even know what episode we're on now. 68.
And let us not forget that they did pump fake the hell out of everybody on that show as well.
Oh yeah.
Because they played it like they were going off the air. We thought like, okay, that was a good show. Randy Orton returned. No CM Punk. All right. And then boom.
That
music hit.
God, dude, I marked out so fucking. I was just like,
You fucking mark!
yep, I fucking marked out. And I was like, the last time I think I popped that hard for a return was probably like when Edge came back, at the Rumble. So, yeah, that was a nice one. I don't know how are they gonna follow it this year, right? How are we gonna get a big return? Are we getting a big title change? Are we getting something big this year that when those credits roll, that WWE logo goes up, we're satisfied? Just as good as we were last year? Well, some of us.
Hard to say. I mean,
I know, it's hard to
based
say.
upon the card. Well, one, I don't think they need to try to match something like that every year because, obviously, a thing like like the return of CM Punk, that's a, once in a blue moon type of opportunity.
Finite amount of time.
Absolutely.
Right, that you could do something like that. So, I mean, there's a little opportunity. I wouldn't expect anything of that magnitude. Also, this year we've got, even though this is technically the last PLE of the year,
right,
we still have another big WWE event coming in Saturday night's main event, which they are treating as a PLE caliber type event. So,
yeah, and then the first Raw on Netflix is like 2 weeks after that.
Right.
And they're treating that as a fucking huge deal.
Exactly. So, yeah, we still have a lot of big things still to come, so this may be just a typical run-of-the-mill type of show.
Right. I mean, this is Survivor. For those who don't know, Survivor Series is one of the big four. Actually, it might be big five now that we have, Saudi shows. But
yeah, you were right the first time. Big four.
Yeah, big four. What's canon? Yeah, the big four. It's what's canon. We have the Royal Rumble. We have WrestleMania, of course. We have SummerSlam. And we have Survivor Series. And then kind of goes back around for us. And yeah, like Doyle said, it was always based off of big team elimination matches. I even had somebody at work today bring it up when we were looking at the card, and they were like, where are the big, didn't you guys used to have like Team Raw versus Team SmackDown? I'm like, yeah, we used to. That used to be a big thing. They used to do it for bragging rights. It would be the red shirts versus the blue shirts, and they would have even like, there was a couple shows that they've done where they had like an invasion of another show, like Raw would come up and beat up SmackDown stars and vice versa. And then I think one of my most recent ones, it was probably my favorite, it was when NXT was involved and Triple H was running NXT, and they had NXT invade, was it Raw and SmackDown on the old DX Jeep that they used. I thought that was cool. It made it, for me, at that was probably when NXT was probably peak, when NXT was almost on par with the main roster, or at least it felt like it was getting there. And it helped. They won that year too. NXT won that year. But we don't have anything like that this year. We don't have Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. We have the Bloodline, and we were kind of, go back like 2 years or so, or whenever, we saw Solo come in and the bloodline basically start to fall apart. We kind of called this, we called this a long time ago, right, guys? I mean, we knew this was inevitable.
We've been since Mania, I think.
Yeah. I mean, even before that, we were kind of like, this is what we would love to see, and we're here. And we have a little extra meat on the bone. Extra meat as in we got Bronson Reed, we got the fifth man on the other team, and for those who don't know who the fifth man is, we'll get to that. But you know what? Let's get into this. Let's get into the other matches, and then we'll get to the meat of it. First one we're gonna have here is L.A. Knight as the United States champion versus a returning Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, LA Knight has had the United States title for quite some time now. He has definitely defended it more than our last United States champion, Logan Paul. He was able to escape the last pay-per-view. I say escape because I thought it might have been where he could have lost it. But it seems like now we have a returning heel, Shinsuke, after the title, nipping at his heels. To be honest, the last time I recall Shinsuke with the title, Intercontinental United States title, he didn't really do much for the title, and it didn't do much for him. Still a heel. His promos, at least now, have subtitles when he does his promos backstage. I feel like that was always his weakness, was his promos. Maybe, but I just, right now in this set in time, I just don't see Shinsuke walking out with that title. I think LA Knight's just gonna add another notch to his belt. Yeah. Dre, talk to me.
I think the only question about this match really is this a one and done thing with their feud? It would seem rather pointless to have brought Shinsuke Nakamura back and made it seem like it's supposed to be a big deal or something that we should care about, just for him to stalk LA Knight for 2 weeks and then lose a title match and then disappear again. That would seem rather pointless, and that would seem like a bit of a waste. So I'm sure LA Knight is going to retain the title, but I don't know if he's going to win the match. My hope is that this match ends in some sort of, DQ or something something happens that warrants this match continuing beyond this show or beyond this PLE.
I just don't feel like we've had enough time to build the feud properly.
There's been no build.
right. And Shinsuke has
just
the attack.
Shinsuke's popped up, clocked LA Knight a few times, and that's really it. It seems like it's a pretty. I'm surprised they're even doing the match on this PLE so, quickly after having just brought him back. I would have thought that this was something that they were going to drag on and push out to Saturday night's main event, but I guess they need to fill out the card with something, so they're throwing this in, even though it feels rather rushed and has very little buildup. So that's kind of what also makes me think that this is going to extend beyond this show.
Right.
So and if LA Knight just wins clean, then there's really not much justification or reason to pursue it further. But he wins clean, and then next SmackDown, Shinsuke shows up and attacks him again. Well, fine, we'll do it again. It's kind of doesn't make much sense to it. So,
yeah, I mean,
my money is that LA Knight retains, but he doesn't necessarily pin Shinsuke Nakamura.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on, because heel Nakamura is notorious for DQs. I mean, there was a time when I was very excited for the AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura feud. Very excited. And if anybody remembers that feud, it was just nut shot after nut shot after nut shot. We literally had 5 pay-per-views in a row where these guys just nut shotted each other. And it was the most frustrating feud I've ever fucking watched. So with Shinsuke, it's very possible. Doyle, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much echo what Dre said. I had written down, this feels very thrown together. Like, oh shit, we need a 5th match. Excuse me. And we don't want to take anything away from Saturday night's main event. What can we throw together? Like, Shinsuke just got back. It feels too soon for this match to be even happening. There was essentially no build, like I said. But here we are. Yeah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for LA Knight to drop the title here. And I don't think it makes a lot of sense to put it on Shinsuke Nakamura right now either. The math just doesn't add up. I had LA Knight winning, but yeah, I like Dre's idea of a schmaz or a DQ finish. Makes probably more sense. But yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the low point of the card, maybe. I'm not expecting too much here. So if we get anything that's remotely entertaining, I guess I'll be pretty impressed, pretty pleasantly surprised, shall we say.
Right.
I love Shinsuke, but LA Knight doesn't really do much for me. But I don't know. I don't see these guys having great chemistry with each other, but I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, LA Knight is definitely still treading water as U.S. champion. I mean, he's still obviously popular, still over with the fans, but, I think I said it before in a previous episode, as much as everybody's dunking on Cody and his title reign and trying to call his shit lackluster, his shit is freaking theater compared to what LA Knight's title run has been.
Right. Yeah. And you know what else is funny is, like, you were right though, like, why is this match even on the card? Because we don't have the tag titles from either show on this card. That would have been nice. Maybe like a tag team elimination style type match, or maybe like even like the Raw tag team champions versus the SmackDown, even in just for no title, just a type of match. Not even that. Not even a little bit of a Raw versus SmackDown. Not even this weird fucking rumor that I heard last year about, we're going to put both general managers and we're going to put them in the ring and we're going to have them fight each other. Okay, I'm glad we didn't do that.
See Adam Pearce get dog walked.
Yeah, I don't need to see that.
At some point.
But yeah, they're probably going to do that at some point. I mean, hell, we had Michael Cole in a singlet at one point, wrestling somebody at WrestleMania. So anything's possible. Moving on, we have the Intercontinental title, Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. So we have a triple threat. I love triple threats, right? This might be a little bit better than the United States title match, which I think maybe the United States may even been better as another triple threat, but I think we got that last pay-per-view with him, so it really sucks because it seems like Sheamus, I think since we've done this podcast, he's always come like so close to the Intercontinental title, especially since it was around Gunther's waist, just so close and just fails every fucking time. Just so close to that Grand Slam, and like every time I'm just like, oh, this is it. They gotta give it to him, right? This is it. No, I don't think they're gonna do it here either. I don't think it'd be great. Big, Survivor Series moment.
You're finally off that. Give Sheamus the IC title narcotic. You're finally off that.
It's like you try.
I'm behind 7-Eleven mainlining that shit, by the way.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening. And Ludwig Kaiser, I just don't. Maybe if Breaker was a face, I could see him stealing it out from under him. But no, I just see Braun just spearing one of these fuckers, probably Ludwig, and that's it. Like, Sheamus is going, so close yet again, but he got thrown out of the ring by Ludwig, and Ludwig turned around and he got speared by Braun and done. Just done. I don't know if there'll be any weapons involved. I mean, I guess there kind of could, so we could probably see some kendo sticks maybe. I don't know. But Braun Breaker's Intercontinental title run is just not as exciting, and I'll pick on him too. And I know there's fans out there, Braun Breaker, but we'll pick on him anyway. So
come on, don't be crazy.
Oh no, I'm not crazy. Dre, I want to hear your opinion.
Well, in comparison to LA Knight, the thing I will give Braun Breaker for his IC title run is at least there's a story there with his IC run.
Yeah.
LA Knight's just had matches. Braun at least has some storylines. He had the storyline with Sami Zayn where, he was the inexperienced guys facing the veteran. And Sami was the veteran using his experience to try to get the upper hand on Braun. So Braun just, told Sami Zayn there's levels to this shit and you ain't on mine. He got overconfident after coming out of that, and then wound up working against him with Jey Uso, and Jey was able to defeat him and become IC champion. Then they decided, fuck you, Jey, and put it back on Braun. Well, or the storyline would be that Braun refocused and got his title back. So, at least Braun Breaker has that going for him as his IC champion. He has storyline. There's a thread that you can follow with this. Now, where this match falls in line with that, I don't know. Don't know where it falls in line in terms of following the thread, but he's obviously going to retain. I don't see any reason for them to take it off of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a heel. He's not a face. He's kind of in that tweener zone right now where, it depends on who his opponent is. Against somebody like Sheamus, he may be seen as more of a heel. Against Ludwig Kaiser, he's seen as more of a face. And I think that's probably the rank where he's going to be at for a while until, the fans maybe definitively go one way or the other with him. But yeah, this match, it'll be a good match. I don't think it's going to suck. Obviously, all these guys can work well in the ring and have respective beef with each other. Like, each one hates the other too, so there's no reason for one person just be sitting it out there. Everybody's going to get their time to have their 1v1 and brawling with each other.
Yeah.
And one day Sheamus will, even though I joked on the narcotic, one day I'm sure Sheamus will finally get that IC reign so he can have his Grand Slam. But it ain't going to be this time. It ain't going to be this show. Braun Breaker's going to come out on top. And whether they cheer him or boo him probably depends on who he pins.
Yeah, that's true. I think Ludwig's going to take the pin.
Oh, yeah, probably.
No.
My guess is he pins Ludwig Kaiser and gets a huge pop and they cheer his victory.
Yeah. I mean, what better person to pin to get some heat off of you?
Unless they go for some type of other shenanigans where they all pin each other. I don't think it's happening.
Some kind of weird human centipede kind of situation.
Yeah, like they all something happens. They all end up knocking each other out, and Sheamus falls on Braun, Braun falls on Ludwig, Ludwig falls on Sheamus.
Human brain.
It's possible. I'm seeing it now in my head. I'm just like, the chances of that fucking happening, I'd stand up and be like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put money on it, but if it happens, you heard it here first.
Let's get them. We'll get them all looped up in baby oil, and they'll be slipping around, and they just fall on top of each other. It'll be fucking hilarious. They're just gonna lay there for a long time. We're gonna do a long count, and then after this, we're gonna lay there to the very end till everybody leaves the arena. Yeah, that is kind of weird, but could happen. We've seen it happen. I've always liked, you always had that one anchor wrestler on your team who just basically is basically there to the very end and ends up eliminating a couple people. We've had Shawn Michaels was always a good anchor. I always thought, in your Survivor Series team. I always liked when he would like give you the sweet chin music and then kind of like fall on top of you and pin you, like right after giving it to you. I always thought that was fucking cool. There's some finishers that you could do that. You know, you do the finisher and immediately pin them, like exhausted. You know, but that's how a good wrestler would sell it. Doyle, did we get yours on this match?
No.
Yeah, I want to hear you tear this fucking thing apart, man. Tell me how your man Braun Breaker. Go ahead.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Really?
Kind of shades of WrestleMania 39, the triple threat between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew for this very same IC title. I love that match. So I'm hoping something hard hitting, you know, with 57 chops or something like that. But yeah, I think you can make a case for all three guys winning the match.
Yeah.
You know, Gunther challenged Ludwig Kaiser to, like, you know, make his own path or, you know, make his own legacy or whatever. I don't remember what the exact wording was or whatever, but winning the IC title would certainly, I think, fit the bill of making Gunther happy, you know. But it does feel too soon for him, I think. You know, this is his first pay-per-view appearance as a single in the company. So I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities for him in the future, but this first one ain't going to be it. Yeah, Braun has seemed to be like destined to be a future world champion. Everybody says future, you know, WrestleMania main eventer, the whole nine. And, you know, when he first won the IC title, I think a lot of people expected him to have a really long title reign.
Right.
But then he didn't, you know?
Yeah.
And then he won it right back. But
yeah, we played hot
I don't
potato
think
with
that happening again can be ruled out here because they seem to be kind of hot shot in the IC title around a little bit, which is fine after Gunther having it for so long. But yeah, I am fucking freebasing Sheamus finally winning the IC title here. You know, he will, like Dre, you said it, he will eventually win it. If not here, he will eventually, and, you know, barring a career-threatening injury or something. But I just don't see a whole lot of other opportunities for something big to happen on this show outside of the Bloodline match. And this seems like as good an opportunity as any to make something big happen and maybe try to make this show memorable outside of whatever ends up happening with the Bloodline match, which of course is the focus of taking, and to a degree is kind of taking all the oxygen out of the room on the rest of the card. You know, so I think they're maybe trying to create a moment outside of that match that will be memorable. And I think Sheamus finally doing it could be just a ticket. So I'll certainly be rooting for him. You know that. And the pride of Dublin will finally get it done.
Yeah.
If there was a spot for a surprise or a shock, this would definitely be the match probably for it.
Right.
I'll definitely give you that.
Yeah, and you know what though? Like the IC title, since it's been off of Gunther, has been out of all the titles, the hot potato title.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fine with that. There was enough. There's enough. You know what I mean? Like there's enough lineage. What's the word I'm looking for?
Lineage.
Thank you. Lineage built up, especially as of late with what Gunther did with it. So I'm totally on board with that. I mean, we already had Jey Uso had an IC title run, not long, but he had one.
Yeah, it's gone from Sammy to Braun to Jey and back to Braun.
Exactly.
And we've had so little movement with the world title also.
Yeah, and
you know, you got to somebody's got to. Some title has to move around a little eventually.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly. And like it's like chess almost. You're making the right moves for the right people at the right time. And, you know, comparing apples to oranges, well, kind of, we're going to compare the IC to the United States. You know, roughly not too far in between that those titles did switch hands from a long title run. But look how much has been done with the IC title compared to what LA Knight has done by just holding on to that title. it's been a little bit more interesting on the IC title end than I would say the United States title. Wouldn't you guys say?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. So I'm totally for the idea if it pops on, if it jumps on Sheamus for a while, he finally gets that Grand Slam, and then I don't know, loses it to Ludwig. Maybe he loses it to Ludwig down the road. Either way, I mean, I'm all for it. You're right, Doyle. You could go either way for any of these guys, but
yeah, you can make a case for. I mean, there really isn't a wrong answer if you want to say that. You know, I think it's a little too early for Ludwig Kaiser. Although I am a pretty big fan of his. I have enjoyed his work. I'm kind of interested to see what happens when he and Gunther finally go their separate ways or split up, or they might be forever entangled, though. Like some wrestlers seem to be with other ones. I mean, time will tell on that, but I think as long as he sticks around the company, I think he'll certainly be a upper mid card / main event player for the next couple of years, I would think.
Yeah, I believe he's dating Tiffany Stratton.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, two wrestlers who are on the rise together, completely separate gimmicks. You would never guess that those two were a couple, but definitely on the rise together. Both have something promising and upcoming coming for both their careers. So, I would say if one is on top of the world. What's that?
Yeah.
I said I think Tiffany has a brighter future than he does.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I could definitely see, like, when she wins a title, maybe he starts winning maybe an IC title. I don't know. Sometimes they do that with couples. Like, the couples are on the rise together in some way, shape, or form. They did it with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. But
meanwhile, Bianca's just winning belts left and right, and Montez Ford still sitting there empty-handed. So.
Not for everybody. Not for everybody. All right. Speaking of, let's move on to Gunther, our World Heavyweight Champion, versus Damian Priest getting his rematch. After rematch? Did he already have a rematch? I'm not quite sure. I don't remember.
No.
This is the rematch. Mm-mm. It's just been pushed this far, I guess, because Gunther's had other. Yeah, that's right. He did. He had the champion versus champion he had to deal with. That whole feud.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this kind of was put on the back burner for a while, and Damian's going to try to get his belt back, his title. Sorry. I'm sorry. I think it's going to be a good match. I think this is going to be just another two men slapping meat, men slapping meat, whatever. But I see Gunther walking away, and maybe by submission. I want to say submission. I don't think it's gonna be a direct pin. I see Damian being the type of guy to tap out for Gunther. But yeah, Damian's gonna get pretty close. And even, you know what? I could even see some sort of shenanigans from somebody, specifically Judgment Day, interfering. Maybe Finn Balor. Because it looks like Judgment Day still just isn't done with Damian Priest. I would like them to be. I would like Judgment Day to kind of move on from them. Judgment Day has evolved so much in the past few years. Jesus, yeah. Unfortunately, even though he's a face and he's quite still popular and he's over and he's a former World Heavyweight Champion and he's, free from the grip of Judgment Day, I still think Gunther's going to walk out your World Heavyweight Champion. Dre.
Yeah, I do not like how this match has been built up. And first things first, yeah, I do believe that Gunther's going to retain. But I don't like the way that they've been doing the story of this match, just from the standpoint of the way they've booked Damian Priest in this match. They've been doing this thing where Damian Priest is seeming like the stronger of the two. He's pretty much gotten the upper hand on Gunther at every interaction that they've had. And he's been the one, talking the most shit and being the more arrogant one of the two. And they're almost playing up the story like Gunther is the one who has to overcome something in this match, even though he's the defending champion. Usually, that's the role of the babyface. Like the babyface is the one who has to overcome the heel. The babyface is the one chasing and challenging. Whereas this one, and the heel is usually the one that's the arrogant one, the shit talking one, this, that, and the third. Whereas this, they're almost flipped it on its head. And Damian Priest is the babyface who is the cocky, trash talking down to the person that he has to try to defeat to take their title from. And they're almost seemingly at times trying to make Gunther almost like seem like a sympathetic figure and the one that has to overcome a challenge to keep his own belt. I just don't like the way that's being told. I don't like the way they're playing that story out. It's not really vibing with me. I mean, I know, like, this whole match, the storyline in this match is all about Gunther in this match, as opposed to it being about the babyface trying to become the champion, or Damian Priest, the guy who's the babyface, the one who's popular over with the fans, trying to regain the title. This story is more like, has Gunther lost his edge? Can he get that thing back, become that dominant person that he once was again? And I don't like the fact that they're using Damian Priest as his foil in this feud. Because it seems like, one, it seems hella predictable that obviously Gunther's going to win and he is somehow going to get that old thing back, quote unquote, or whatever, to win. I don't think Damian Priest is going to pin. I'd be shocked if he actually makes Damian Priest tap out. I would be shocked if that happens. Probably upset if I'd probably be upset if he made Damian Priest tap out. I think he wins by just regular pinfall, but yeah, I don't like Damian Priest being made to be the foil in service of Gunther's story when he's the one that's supposed to be trying to capture the title and become champion. But it seems like he's just being used as just to further Gunther's story. He's almost being served up like a sacrificial lamb. And then where does this leave Damian Priest after this, after he inevitably loses? Does he fall into that category that Bobby Lashley was perpetually stuck in before he left WWE, a forever challenger but never champion again? I don't really want that for him either. So
yeah, neither do I.
Gunther's gonna win, but honestly, I don't like the way this is played out so far.
Doyle.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of once again echo pretty much what Dre said. I'm not a huge Damian Priest fan, but credit where credit is due. I think he has improved steadily this entire year, both in the ring and on the mic. Not that he was green or anything, but he's grown on me a little bit. But Dre, you said it great. Like, the vibes just are not there for me either. It's just been kind of a boring build, I think, and not that interesting. I kind of don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? But, in terms of who's going to win, Gunther never loses. And he sure as fuck doesn't lose 2 pay-per-views in a row. So I think maybe I think Punk maybe. I'm surprised that Gunther Punk isn't happening now. But I think that's probably the plan going forward.
Yeah.
But then, just like Dre said, where does that leave Damian Priest? I just have a question mark. I have no idea. I think it would be a step back for him to start feuding with Judgment Day again. But I don't know that I'm not sure what direction else he would go in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does seem like one of those guys that's gonna ride out his contract and then go be a 6-time AEW champion or something. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think Gunther will win, but I don't know. I don't really care. It's not doing it for me.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, let's get to the reason why we're all here. We're here for the 2 matches on the card. The women's WarGames match and the men's WarGames match. And it sucks. This is Survivor Series, and this is the 2 most exciting matches on the card. And for me, the women's is less exciting for me than the men's. The women's here, we got Team Rhea Ripley with a horrible, god-awful, terrible, no good, very bad mask. Just terrible. Teaming up with Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bayley. And they're going to verse the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. As you recall, last pay-per-view, we had Liv versus Nia, and now all of a sudden they're a team. Totally cool with each other. Yeah. And even though Bayley has been feuding with Damage Control for months, now her and Io are cool to be on a team. And at one point, Rhea just ran through the roster of all these women, and I think the return for Rhea was pretty early. I felt like I think we talked about this before, could have waited a while for her to return. I think she wouldn't have to wear the nose guard thing and look as awful as she does with it. Maybe if the pay-per-view was on Halloween, maybe it would have worked out in her favor. But, I think we're going to get, the good guys are going to go over on this one. The reason why Jade Cargill isn't on the card, she was quote unquote taken out. And when we get to news, we'll talk a little bit more about that. I thought there would have been an empty spot for a while, and maybe we would have got like a big return. But Bayley kind of seemed like the most obvious one to be put in there. And I'm not saying, isn't Bayley part of the United States title bracket that they're doing too? Like, some of these women are.
Yeah.
So we're not even doing.
Tiffany is. Bianca was.
Okay. I don't know. This team really seemed like it was just out of nowhere put together. I was so confused. I felt like I missed an episode of Raw when this team was put together. I was like, what? Okay. So now Liv and Nia are cool with each other? And Tiffany and Candice LeRae, they're all cool, because in last pay-per-view they almost killed each other, all of them. I was like, but they're cool, right? For the sake, because they don't like Rhea and Bianca and Naomi and Io and Bayley. That's it. I don't know. It's kind of all over the place, but that's not the point. There really is no true storyline for the women's WarGames match. Not like there truly is one for the men's. I'm just excited because I know we're going to get really good spots. We're going to get an impressive spot by Bianca. Damn well we're going to get a high spot from Io for sure. That's why she's in this match. I expect Nia Jax to get, annihilated in this match. Definitely teamed up on. Maybe we'll see Tiffy take a dive off the top. We've seen her do it in the chamber. but we haven't seen her do it in, a WarGames match. And then you got Raquel and Candice LeRae. They're just there. But yeah, good guys are going to go over on this. I think I've said enough. Dre, well, what's your thoughts on this whole match?
Well, one, I think I would not guarantee that the faces go over in this match. If there was an opportunity for the heels to win this one, this would probably be it.
Okay, you think the heels are the stronger team?
It has been pretty routine. Like every women's WarGames match, the faces have gone over because the faces team has been pretty damn OP compared to I think twice it was Damage Control facing like OPS women's babyface teams. So,
yep.
Like, what was it? Last year was like Bianca and Charlotte and Becky Lynch and versus Damage Control. Like, it was OP as fuck.
Yeah, it was. And they had Shotzi. That was about it.
Right. Like, Shotzi was the odd one out.
Yeah, you're right. It was OP.
Yeah.
Yep.
This year, it's not quite as OP, especially with Jade Cargill having been taken out. Although, admittedly, Bianca, Bayley, and Rhea on the same team is pretty damn strong. So, but it's, arguably countered by just the sheer force of Nia Jax herself, because they have done a hell of a job over the last year of making Nia Jax a absolute beast in the women's division.
Right.
But to your point about how this has been thrown together, yeah, this has been the build-up to this match has been terrible. This has been very poorly booked in the build-up, which sucks because there was so much opportunity for some really good storytelling in the build-up to this match. Just because, especially on the women's face side, like the heels, they're coming together makes sense to a certain extent. Yeah, they faced each other last month, but that was for a bullshit bragging rights title. They're still heels and they still have their regular beefs with these other people, and if they come together to take down their adversaries, that makes sense. It's doesn't need much gymnastics for that to happen. That just pretty simple and straightforward. Whereas on the side of the faces, there was so much opportunity to be told there with Bayley joining this team, but they waited too long to do it. Now, obviously Jade is out for, kayfabe and real reasons. I also agree with you that Rhea did not need to be in this match at all. Honestly, this match could have been totally fine as a 4v4. We could have been totally fine without Candice LeRae and Rhea Ripley in this match. Mm-hmm. And the storyline on the women's side could have been about Bianca, Io, and Bayley, and Naomi. Those four trying to come together and make amends, with Bayley having to reconcile with Io after their, beef earlier this year. That reconciliation needed to happen. Bianca and Bayley have some sort of reconciliation or trying to come to some sort of tentative agreement to work together during this match, with Naomi caught in the middle trying to keep the peace. Like, there was storyline there to be told. But instead, we got a seemingly rushed return of Rhea Ripley rocking the god-awful mask, and then Jade being taken out, and which causes Bayley to finally be in the match. And, now they have basically one show to try to play out that story. And then the match itself, it's very terribly booked. Terribly, terribly booked. There was a lot of wasted opportunity in the build-up to this match that we could have gotten so much more to make us more invested in what happens in this match. But as far as who I picked to win, I'm gonna go against the grain. I actually think the heels are gonna win.
Oh, okay.
I think if they're going to try to tell any remaining story, it may play out in the match itself with Bailey and Bianca and Io and them maybe not being able to get along enough in this match, which allows the heels, mostly Nia, to get the win.
I see.
Come on, don't be crazy.
You're not crazy? You think so? The heels. I just don't think they're functional as a team. I just don't. I think they're gonna. They literally just fought last pay-per-view. I just don't think they're gonna function well. But
the heels,
yeah.
The heels have been getting along better than the faces. I mean, we saw.
Yeah.
I know, but it doesn't
like,
make
they've been
sense.
getting along just fine.
I know.
It makes total sense. They're heels.
Yeah, the bad guys are always friends with another bad
It's
guy.
just
Right, bad
like
guys
I
and
said,
bad guys get along all the time because I'm like, hey, we hate them motherfuckers. That's all we need to get along.
they literally acted like Saudi did not exist. Oh, yeah, they did. They did. The sons of bitches did it. They even act like it never existed.
Yeah, and we all knew that going into the damn thing that it wasn't.
Well, everyone except for Wayne knew that.
I know. I'm just
it's Elseworld. It was a side quest.
It's still real to me. Damn it.
Those Saudi shows are basically our side quest. The only one that mattered was the King and Queen of the Ring. But Crown Jewel is a side quest every year.
Yeah, fuck. Here I am thinking about continuity and shit, trying to keep kayfabe alive, and yep, I know.
And to a certain extent, I mean, they haven't completely abandoned it because Nia and Liv did both say to each other that I actually don't like you. They said that in the ring to each other, so they're getting along, quote unquote, but they don't actually like each other because they're heels. Like heels hate everybody.
Right.
But they have enough of an agreement to work together because, yeah, I don't like you, but I hate them motherfuckers over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My enemy's enemy is my friend.
Right. So they at least have an agreement, whereas they're still tenuous on the women's babyface side, even though it's played out very poorly.
Yeah. True. Doyle. Now let's hear your thoughts. Go.
Dre, I just want to say, Dre, your wasted opportunity is certainly a fair criticism, but I think like an unanswerable question will always be that we'll never get an answer to is how much Rhea Ripley's start and stop injury fucked up things. Because she went from she's going to be out for indefinitely to she's back all of a sudden. I don't know if they got in there the X-ray and they're like, oh wait, this isn't nearly as bad as we thought it was. So I don't know if they started going one direction and went, whoa, wait a minute, we got Rhea back, so let's turn it around in this direction. I don't know. We'll probably never know.
Yeah.
In Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the meme of Charlie with the
board and all the strings.
Yes.
That's kind of what I have here.
Yeah.
Pape Sylvia.
So I'm going to try to verbalize this as best I can. This is kind of like the opposite of the men's match where we've had one storyline, and it's one we've been following for years really at this point and kind of saw coming since WrestleMania, right? This is like a conveyance of multiple storylines that really have only kind of taken shape in the last couple weeks, So a lot of moving parts here. Who injured Jade Cargill? May play a factor in this match, may not play a factor in this match. Like, how soon do we find out? Do we not find out until she's ready to come back? Or do we find out during the course of this match? And what happens to the tag titles is a related question to that. So I'm not sure if it's going to play a part in the match or not, but I wouldn't rule it out either. I could see Jade showing up on the screen during the match and playing the security footage or whatever and revealing that it's, so-and-so. Like I said, a lot of moving parts already. I don't know if it needs that much overcomplication because there's already a lot of complication. As for what happens to the titles, the curse continues. The women's tag title curse. We've seen teams stripped of the titles, and we've seen, because of injury, and we've seen tag champs get a new partner, so they can kind of do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. Who are the suspects? Well, I think Bailey But she just turned babyface not long ago. I'm not sure that turning her heel again so soon is the right way to go. Bianca is a suspect, I think, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. She cost herself a shot at the U.S. title when she ran to go help. And she may end up losing the tag title also as a result. So I don't know. My pick is Naomi, especially if she gets Jade's tag title just handed to her. I think she needs some kind of shake up with her character. She hasn't really done a hell of a lot since she came back. A heel turn could be what she needs. Anyway, back to Bayley. Her involvement in this match is really always seemed more natural to me than Io's. I guess Io's the number one contender to live, so that's how she gets herself involved. But I really wish they had like Bianca and them going around and trying to recruit her as a WarGames specialist or whatever, because she's always in the WarGames matches, right? Yeah, it seems like she's just there. Like she just kind of showed up one day. There was no real like, hey, we're together. Speaking of Io, and like I appreciate that wrestlers have memory nowadays. But like Bianca is still mad at Bayley because of damage control, but she doesn't have that problem with Io. And they kind of like, and I think you kind of mentioned it. They played a little bit of lip service to that when they were trying to get a fifth, and Io goes, well, how about Kairi Sane? She's like, well, I don't really like her. You're okay, though. Like, why? And I hope they're going to play up the tension between Bayley and Io. I hope they don't just gloss over that. Totally ignore it or fully embrace it. You can't just kind of like, we like this, so we're going to keep that, but we're just going to conveniently forget that happened over there.
Yeah, you know what though? Like just one line of dialogue could totally fix that. Yeah. It's like I'm only here because I hate her. I hate them way worse than I hate you. Like, something like that. That's all it takes. And then it's like, oh, okay, that fixes everything.
Yeah. And that's a good point that you bring up about, Bayley. I mean, not Bayley, about Bianca just being like, oh, Io, you're a part of this? All right, cool. Like, Bianca, you should legitimately have some beef with Io because she's the one that dethroned you as champion.
Yeah, right. Like,
and was part of Damage Control.
But she's mad at Bayley, but not Io. That doesn't make shouldn't you be mad at both of them?
Right.
Another thing, neither of you mentioned is Tiffany in this. I think we may finally get I think we talked about it last year with Priest, with the Money in the Bank winner being in with the champion in the WarGames match. Now Tiffany's going to be in with both champions. Whether it's following the match or during the match itself, I'm not sure which. It could be. Didn't Dakota Kai turn heel during her entrance and just start beating up the person she was in the cage with?
Yes,
I could see
Tegan Knox.
Like that.
Tegan Knox, yeah. She took Tegan Knox out before she even got. It was stupid. I mean, I didn't see. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Tiffany's third or second to last in, and Nia's there, and she slams her head in the cage and pins her and wins the title, and then goes to I don't know, something like that. Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about it with Priest.
Interesting, but I think that would be a hell of a shot because I think technically you can't pin anybody until WarGames actually begins.
Exactly. So,
I know,
but you could still cash in Money in the Bank.
Right. I never understood. Wild. I never liked the concept of WarGames. Like, okay, so it's two people, right? And then
watch your mouth.
Listen to me now. Listen.
I don't like that you can win it on a pinfall now.
I don't. It should be an elimination, right?
Well, no, I mean the original WarGames wasn't an elimination, but it was always ended in
submit or surrender. That's how it was back in the day. Yeah, there was no pinfall. That was a WWE thing that they threw in.
Yeah,
it used to be back in the day. Yeah, because this is a Dusty concept that you started off with, 1-on-1, and then another person would be added on, and the match never officially began until everybody was in the ring. That part they've at least retained. And then, as Dusty called it, the match beyond would begin when everybody was in. And from there, the only way you could win was by submit or surrender, which by surrender, they basically meant beat somebody until they can't continue anymore.
Yeah, I thought it would be
War Games. That's the War Games I grew up on. That's the War Games I loved. Because that shit had that brutality. Like, you were really in there to beat the shit out of people, not to win a match. It was like, no, this beef has gotten so serious.
Yeah, and that's why I hate that we need to not only force one but two of these every year at the same time. Like, okay, the men's one this year, of course, makes perfect sense that needs to happen in a war game. But these ladies, this doesn't seem like a big enough spat to need. The only way we can settle this is in, like.
Oh yeah,
like,
not for the women.
Beef on the women's end does not feel significant enough to really.
It's like when they used to have a Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, and so you had to have a Hell in the Cell match, regardless if a feud was hot enough or not.
Right. Now,
and
Doyle,
this kind of feels like that.
This would have been perfect for we have the one War Games match, and then now the women's will have the standard Raw versus SmackDown.
Right, I feel like
women's.
That would be so much more fun as an elimination tag match.
Yeah, way.
Oh yeah, but one final thread for this match before I end my thoughts here. We mentioned CM Punk returning last year and maybe trying to recreate that. This seems like a good opportunity to try to do that for the women anyway. The fucking number of people that are currently out is ridiculous. Charlotte, Becky, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Asuka, Shotzi. I don't think Shotzi is in the conversation, but
Shotzi ain't moving no needles.
I could see somebody on that list coming out and just, hey, I'm back. I think all of them, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple people.
Yeah, there's a lot of women out.
A whole bunch of women that seem like they're coming back any second now.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss.
The only one that could.
The
only one that could move the needle that way would be Charlotte, and I don't want her having no parts of this match. They can save her for Saturday night main event or something.
I don't mean getting involved in the match. I just mean
like returning but this would be the spot like after the match or something like that to return.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the baby faces going over just because, spoiler alert, I have the heels winning the men's.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that part too. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just piss off everybody tonight. I mean, on the show.
Maybe.
Oh God.
It's time for
main
event.
It's time for the main event. It's time for
War Games.
War Games. All right. So we've been finally. This is what it's been leading up to. Besides the big WrestleMania storyline pinpoints for the Bloodline. I mean that was big last year, this year. But the next big turning point is gonna be right here, and we were alluding to this for months, maybe even a full year prior, like for a goddamn while, and it got bigger than what we thought. We got a little bit more meat on the bone, which is great because we're gonna get the new bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tungaloa, and the new addition of Bronson Reed, who fucking looks like he just fits the part perfectly. He really does. We mentioned last episode, like Dre said, he looked like he just came out and was meant for the fucking role. Like, he looks the role. He looks the part. And, damn, they got me good. Because on the other team, we got the OG. We got the OG bloodline. Roman Reigns. We got Jey Uso. We got Jimmy Uso. So we got the Usos back together. But most importantly, we got Sami Zayn back in the bloodline. We got all of them back together. But they needed a fifth man. Oh, and did we get a fifth man? And we were kind of close. At least Trey, you got me, man. Like, thinking, oh, what if, Paul Heyman guy comes out, right? And I totally did not think of that Paul Heyman guy. I was thinking of another Paul Heyman guy. But I'm going to play the sound clip here.
So it's not going to be 4 versus 5. It's going to be 5 versus 5.
It was one of those moments where like a few seconds before his music hit, I was like, it's gotta be Punk. I just had this vibe, like, it's gotta be Punk. And then when they hear that, I was like, yes. I stood up and I like clapped my hands. I was like, fuck yes. Punk running out there, wrapping his tape already, getting in the ring and started throwing fists with Bronson Reed. I'm excited for this. We thought it was going to be Seth Rollins. That's who I thought they were really going towards. It made sense, right? But Seth stood his ground, and I like that. I like that he stuck to his morals of basically fuck Roman, man. No, Roman did me dirty for years. Fuck that guy. Literally that's how he came off as, and he stuck to it. And I'm glad they didn't pull out, bringing Seth in as probably the most obvious pick. But, just a few months ago, he was trying to prevent, Roman from winning the title. He helped Cody. So that would be another thing. It just wouldn't make sense of why all of a sudden he's helping, Roman and the Bloodline, who's been whooping his ass for months on end. Either side. Why should he help either side? And pretty smart for Seth to stay out of it. But CM Punk, this is 1 year since he's returned. And it kind of makes sense to me because CM Punk has kind of been apart from any Bloodline shit. He hasn't stuck his foot in anything Bloodline related. And so that's kind of good here. He kind of has no quarrels with anybody, but CM Punk's here to fight. And he's the Paul Heyman guy. Now, I don't know which side Paul Heyman is technically on right now. It's most obvious that he would be on Roman's side, but I don't know. There's people talking about maybe look at the outfit that he wore. It's the same colors that Solo wears. Look at his facial expressions. Look at this. And people are dropping all types of hints for maybe another turn. And I don't know. The way he was treated leaving the Bloodline, and maybe he doesn't leave with either Bloodline. Maybe he leaves with Punk. I don't know why he doesn't really need to. I think this is going to be a phenomenal match. I think it's going to be great. Chomping at the bits, because you know what? I've been thinking about this all day at work. I kind of had my answer this morning, and I kind of stuck with it, and then lunchtime came around, and I'm watching more clips online. I'm watching more people say, so-and-so is going to turn, this person's going to turn. I'm hearing other people's cases, And I really think the heels are going to go over on this. And as much as you want the faces to go over, we got everybody reuniting. Everybody's burying the fucking hatchet. From all the shit that Sammy has been through, all the shit that Jay has been through, and the shit that Roman has been through, everybody trying to stay on the same level. I just don't think they're gonna get it. I just think the new Bloodline is gonna walk away with the W, and it's gonna be a huge win for them. It's gonna be the turning of the tide is going to be a new era of the bloodline. And I honestly think it's going to be the heels. I don't know where we go from here, to be honest. You would think that this is where this big feud would probably end and people would go their ways. Maybe Roman involves himself with The Rock. And that's another thing. The Rock, that's a whole nother conversation. If The Rock would even appear tonight or tomorrow night. I don't know where he's filming Moana right now, because that's where he is. There's recent set photos released. I don't know if that's currently where he's at. Could he fly in and make an appearance? That's still a huge factor. Or are they saving that for him and Cody? Which, by the way, Cody's not even on the fucking card. I can't believe I didn't even bring that up. Not even on the card. I'm kind of relieved because we don't.
I bet there's an interview segment or something.
Something, right? Like a middle of the show moment. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It could be halftime show, promo, backstage moment, whatever. But it doesn't need to be. We got enough star power here, plenty of star power, that we don't need him at all. But sure, if they're gonna involve him. They're going to involve The Rock somehow. I don't know. But I think if The Rock is going to further the story with Roman, this is the spot. Maybe he is the wise man to the new bloodline, and we just don't know it. Now I've babbled long enough. Dre, let's hear your thoughts on all this. This big fucking match we've been waiting for.
There's no way I can see Paul Heyman coming out and rejoining the guys who beat the living dog shit out of him and put him through a table.
Right?
I just don't see that. I know a lot of people are trying to read. I think people are just reading too much into the fact that, oh, he had the red shirt and the pocket square, and that's what Solo used to wear.
Yes.
I think he was just doing red and black because that's bloodline colors.
Right.
I think he was matching up, or he's doing that to throw people off the scent, like WWE is known to do. Like just throw stuff out there just to make people speculate, and just end up being completely wrong. I can't see that. They would really, if they pulled that off, they would have to give us like some backstory. They would have to go back and fill in the blanks. How we go from you being disheveled and looking a whole hot mess and bloodshot eye, damn near teary-eyed, saying you are not my tribal chief and wearing a whole ass whooping, to coming back and, all right, yeah, you are my tribal chief, actually. Like, that's a long...
He begged Punk to take him with him, too. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, that's a long-ass bridge. That's a big gap to cross.
Right?
To try to bridge. So I just don't see that happening.
I do recall that, Doyle. Sorry.
Yeah, like I don't see that part happening. Mm-hmm. Punk being in this match, I mean, it is what it is. He's a Paul Heyman guy. I do appreciate that. He's not in there as an ally. He's in there basically as doing this as a favor to Paul, which is probably what we're going to see play out Friday on SmackDown when him and Roman have their face-to-face in the ring. Like, Paul asked me for a favor. I'm doing this for Paul. After this, fuck you. It's back to fuck you. So, and it is what it is. The Rock factor in this match, it could very much factor in at some point potentially, but I'm gonna say probably not. I'm thinking we probably don't see The Rock again until Netflix. Maybe Saturday Night Main Event, but I'd probably say probably not till Netflix.
Netflix, that's a pretty good idea. I would definitely agree on that one.
Yeah. I think that's when we see him again. Until then, this storyline's going to just continue to play out in some way or shape or form. Mm-hmm. Now, as I've been saying for the longest, and I'm still going to continue to say, and I'm still banking on it, and I'm still riding on it, because somehow, some way, shenanigans have to happen, and in order for this storyline to continue, Solo and them have to win, which at least in this iteration, in this go round, they have some credibility with which to win. And that damn sure comes in the fact of, surprisingly to say, but comes in the form of Bronson rejoining their team. Because now it's not just Jacob Fatu seemingly doing all the heavy hitting, all the heavy lifting, Solo coming in with the finish, and then two, jokers filling out the roster. Now they got at least enough depth on their roster to legitimately bang with, one of the greatest tag teams of all time and Roman Reigns. Because, Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu are a fucking problem. I don't care how you look at it. Those two together are a problem. And they should be in that bitch dog walking the fuck out of damn near everybody else not named Roman Reigns or Jey Uso. But they are going to... I'm also in agreement that Solo and them are going to win because that's the only way this storyline continues. And in the absence of outside interference from The Rock or somebody, which I don't think there's going to be any outside interference, then the catalyst for Roman and them losing has to come from within. And as I was alluding to, I believe that's going to come from Sami Zayn. I still am on the line of the opinion that he is going to betray Roman and them, and maybe he joins. I don't know if he betrays, because now that Paul Heyman is coming in, he's introduced CM Punk. I'm slightly modifying my theory. I thought he was going to betray them initially and join Solo in them. I don't know if that happens. I don't know. Maybe if Paul Heyman has something up his sleeve, if he has something up his sleeve against Roman, maybe he's convinced Sammy to betray them and Paul becomes a third party in all this.
I mean, like,
in
Doyle
some way,
made
shape,
a
or
good
form.
point.
Although that also feels like a bit of a stretch or a reach because CM Punk is on Raw still.
Right.
I know brand split don't mean shit, but for all intents and purposes, he's still on Raw. And until we get to Netflix and this thing, shakes out however it is on Netflix, for the time being, I'm still viewing him as a Raw talent, while everybody else, well, him and Sammy is Raw talent, while everybody else is SmackDown. So, shit, that almost puts me into the mindset that maybe Paul would go over there and he takes Sammy with him. But fuck, I just don't see Paul going. I do still see Sammy betraying them.
Would you like to borrow my corkboard?
I know right now I'm putting together the fucking pegboard.
Yeah, like Doyle makes a good point because, like,
Doyle?
The last time we saw Punk and Paul Heyman together, like, Paul Heyman was begging Punk to take him with him, and the whole possibility of Sammy betraying him and, like, I don't know, Sammy and Punk on the same page, Sammy, Punk, and Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman going to start a new group of Paul Heyman guys. Who knows? Like,
that could be the thing. That could be it. That Paul convinces Sammy and Punk to betray. Well, they betray Roman, and then Paul just basically says, "Fuck you, I'm out."
Yeah,
and walks away from all of it, and then just goes over to Raw, and
they want Punk over. They want him over at Raw. That Netflix wants Punk on Raw.
Netflix wants everybody on fucking Raw.
Yeah,
they want Cody, Roman, Rock.
But, like, if that would like entice Roman to come to Raw. Then if Punk's on Raw, like, I'm coming to Raw, and that's where he ends up for Netflix because he has somebody over there he wants, and that's how you get Roman away from the bloodline. Well, at least the bloodline on SmackDown. Yeah,
but then what happens with the bloodline storyline? Does it take a pause for the time being while this thing...
Honestly, like, I don't know anymore. After Survivor Series, I don't know what we do with the bloodline. I mean, it's like, this is what we were leading up to. What happens after this? Like, what do the Usos go back to doing their own thing solo wise? Do they become a tag team again? Like,
because that's the other weird thing. Because we've all been working on the assumption that eventually the OG bloodline is going to come out on top.
Yeah.
But what if that's not the plan? What if they just don't? What if they go down in defeat?
Yeah.
And that is the end of the Civil War, with them just losing.
Yeah, and that elevates the other guys greatly, and they would totally elevate, family members like that.
It's still
like, yeah.
I would still say it still only elevates them if Bronson Reed stays in.
Yeah.
If this is a one and done with Bronson and he goes back to Raw, and then we talk about them other 4 motherfuckers as the new dominant force, nah. Bronson Reed has to stay in for them to maintain dominant credibility if they come out on top in this.
Yeah. Yeah. Doyle, let's get your input on this, man.
Well, first, a little bit of good backstage news related to this match is that Michael Pure Sexy Hayes is back off leave. And he generally has been the producer for these Bloodline segments going back to the beginning. And I would argue that his absence has been missed the last few weeks because things haven't quite been as crisp, quite been as good without him. But he's back, so hopefully that's a good sign for the match. Yeah, lots of questions in this one too. I got the cork board out again, strings going everywhere, but I'll address the big one first because I already said it anyway. Who's going to win? The heels are going to win. And like Dre said, I just can't see what their future would be if they don't win. If they don't win, they're no longer a threat, and if they're no longer a threat, what the hell is the point of them even being around? And if they're not around, I don't know that any of them, maybe outside of Jacob Fatu and maybe Solo, the other two can't stand on their own, I don't think. I guess maybe put them as a tag team and throw them in the tag division, but none of them, the mission of getting Solo to be a huge star has not happened yet. Mission not yet accomplished. And therefore, they've got to stick around. They've got to win. But the other questions really is where the intrigue lies, right? So first of all, CM Punk. Punk's involvement here obviously is the big ticket item. By the way, I know a lot of people like to say things like, I don't like to pat myself on the back, but I say, fuck that. Like Barry Horowitz, I love to pat myself on the back. And I do believe that it was me right here on this very program that predicted CM Punk and not Seth Rollins would be the fifth man for the OG bloodline. I digress. I think Punk plays pretty much the role that I thought Seth was going to play, and that is like the red herring, the will he turn, will he won't turn kind of role. I don't think Seth not being involved is ruled out either. I could see Seth getting involved in this somehow, some way. I don't know if it's he jumps the cage and goes after Bronson Reed in the middle of it. I don't know. But I could definitely see him being involved somehow. Like we've said, there is no roof on this particular WarGames cage that they use. But I think ultimately, the Punk can he be trusted thing is a smokescreen because I think they're going to do that Sammy turn. I just can't get over the phone thing. And this match needs something shocking to happen in it, right? Or otherwise, what's the point? The only other shocking thing I could think of, I'll mention in a second, but it's the only possibility I can really see. I don't think Seth jumping the cage to attack Bronson Reed would be shocking. I don't think Punk being trustworthy, ending up being trustworthy is shocking. I don't think Punk turning on Roman makes a whole lot of sense. He's the only person Roman hasn't fucked over in this whole time. He's the only person willing to stand with him. Even if he's only doing it for Paul Heyman, it just makes no sense for him to betray Roman or however you want to put it. Now, Heyman is an interesting case, I think. Kind of independent of Punk, I could see Heyman turning maybe. He was dressed like Solo. He winked at Jimmy. Maybe they're in cahoots. I don't know. Maybe Heyman turning would be shocking. Maybe I should amend my prior statement. Maybe there'd be 3 possible shocking things. I don't think that's off the table. I do like Wayne's idea of Heyman leaving with Punk And that might kind of be a good way to write him out of the bloodline thing, if he doesn't really have a real role going forward. When you could argue that maybe he doesn't, that might be a good way to get him out of there over to Raw and kind of done with it. But the only other shocking thing I could think of besides Sammy would be The Rock. But in the next 6 weeks or so, you got, besides Survivor Series, we already said Saturday Night's Main Event, and right after that, the Raw on Netflix. The Rock is definitely going to be on at least one of those shows. He certainly could be on all three. The only problem is, does the Rock become less special if he's on TV every other week for a month and a half?
Right.
Do we have 3 appearances worth of shit for him to be doing if he's not building to a match? Unless he is building to a match. Maybe he's going to have a match at the Rumble or something like that. I don't know. But I'll be pretty surprised if we don't see The Rock. And I'll be even more surprised if at some point, maybe it's not Saturday, but at some point, The Rock is revealed as the mastermind behind Bloodline 2.0.
Right.
I think that is a certainty. That's going to happen. I think this should be a lot of fun. As the Bloodline turns, the matches themselves really aren't the important parts. It's kind of the events that surround the matches. And I expect that to be the case here. But I think the Bloodline 2.0 is going to win. They've supposedly signed several more Samoans.
Oh
so
gosh.
I could see one of them making their debut here. Either, I don't know what the hell, I can't remember, Hidicula or something is one of them. I think Lance Fatu Jr. they just signed. And,
well, Lance is in NXT. That's been confirmed. He's part of their.
He's one of the ID people, right?
Yeah, no, not the ID. He's the NXT class of 2024.
Yes.
Okay.
They're gonna have a Samoan, Royal Rumble.
They're just gonna. They should just need to. They'll just have their own show.
Yeah, their own Bloodline Rumble. It's gonna be like the NWO. It's gonna be like 20 members.
Too many Samoans. Oops, all Samoans.
Yeah. All right.
But
cool.
what are they gonna do with any of these? I mean, obviously we know that Roman can stand alone. Jay can stand alone. It's not clear to me that Jimmy can stand alone. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
What are they gonna do with all of these people if this ever ends?
I know. What do
Thank you for your service. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah. Well, the ones who seem most likely to end up on the chopping block at the end, if should this all come to an end, would seemingly be Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa.
Yeah, surely.
Although I've heard that Tama Tonga did pretty well for himself on the independent scene in TNA before he came over to WWE. I heard he had I haven't seen any of this stuff, but I heard he had a pretty decent face run over there. So maybe there is some potential for him as a singles competitor, but more than likely I could see, like you said, them falling into the tag team division at the end of this whole Bloodline thing.
Right.
Solo could potentially have single success once he finds himself on the main roster. I think.
Well, that seems to be like the entire point of post WrestleMania 40 Bloodline has been make Solo Sikoa
the big star. Yeah, and that
Cody
seems to be the case. Yes, but I think
year.
he still just hasn't. I don't think he's found himself yet as an individual character. I know a lot of people still long for that old street champion Solo Sikoa from NXT, and they have said he did some good things at NXT, which is why he seemed to have so much fanfare when he came up to the main roster finally. But outside of the Bloodline, basically what I'm saying is I don't think this current iteration of Solo is his final form.
Right.
Yeah. And there's still room for him to evolve post Bloodline or post this iteration of his character. And obviously Jacob, we haven't seen what his potential can be yet, but obviously everybody's heard good things. We've gotten glimpses of it. Clearly he has some mic work potential. I can see that in him.
I have more faith in him being a WWE main eventer than I do Jimmy.
Definitely. Agreed. Like Jimmy, I don't think Jimmy's any slouch, but he doesn't appear to have the charisma that Jay has.
No.
And yeah, it's TBD with him. I don't think he's complete throwaway trash, but he's another one that would have to find his lane. He'd have to find his character outside of Bloodline or the Usos, which he hasn't done as of yet.
Yeah, I mean, I just mean if suddenly they were both singles right now today, who do I think is going to have the better 5 years? I would say Jacob.
Oh yeah, definitely Jacob. Like we know what Jacob can. We've seen his potential. Like I said, obviously we know what he can do in the ring. We've gotten glimpses of what he can do on the mic. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's take a quick pause for the cause. I gotta pee. We're gonna take a pause for the cause, and we got a little bit of news. We're gonna wrap things up with some really interesting things that has happened throughout the week. Let me take a pause here.
Great tasting Chef Boyardee Big Beefaroni. Open up a can for yourself.
Always asking me, Booker T, how'd you come up with that spinneroonie?
Booker, baby, time for your favorite, Chef Boyardee Beefaroni.
Chef Boyardee Beefaroni, out of sight.
Stop that spinneroonie mess and get in this kitchen.
Yep, if it wasn't for great tasting Chef Boyardee Beefaroni, the spinneroonie would have never been born.
Everyone's excited about the great taste of Chef Boyardee Beefaroni, and that's beefaroni, not beefaroni.
Tell me you didn't just say that.
All right, and we are back. And during that intermission, we probably played a very old commercial or a new commercial that sounds very old. So we'll let you decide. All right, guys, I got some news, and we're just going to roll right into just open mic until we decide to just roll it up. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
I've got news for you.
Well, I got news for you.
Newsflash, asshole!
All right, guys, we're talking about it throughout the show about how Jade Cargill has been out of action. She was left laying unconscious on top of a car, and it was later diagnosed that she had deep lumbar paraspinal muscle contusions. That's a fucking mouthful. A bruised kidney, sprained MCL in her right knee, a tibial plateau bone bruise on her right knee, facial lacerations in the face, guys. Deep cuts. She has been pulled from the Women's United States Championship tournament and the Women's WarGames match, which is unfortunate. The attack angle is to cover up Cargill dealing with a legitimate injury. The Wrestling Observer reported that Cargill will be out of action for at least 3 months. We didn't get confirmation that Cargill is injured, but how severe it wasn't really known internally past those involved in creative. They were told... what I just did press. They were just told it will be a minimum of 3 months, maybe longer, which is why they released the story with such severe injuries. They couldn't just fucking be honest with us.
Parking lots are dangerous places, man.
Yeah, they said that.
Ask Rhea.
They said that she injured her neck. Best case scenario, 3 months. So, in an update, Wrestling Votes is reporting that WWE will strip Jade and Bianca of the tag team titles due to the stipulation a new champions will be crowned soon.
Tournament time.
So now we have
tournament
3
time.
tournaments for a vacant women's championship.
Fuck. I mean, just how many these women tag titles are just cursed, right? I mean, it's always somebody's getting hurt. I mean, we had this. Remember, Chelsea Green for a while was holding the titles by herself.
Yeah, that's why I hadn't heard that. So that's why I wondered what would become of them, because we've seen both happen, right? We've seen teams be stripped because of an injury. We've also seen one partner just get a new partner.
Yeah, that made no sense really when they would just grab a new partner. But I guess.
No, I mean it makes sense if it's a trios type situation like New Day or something like that. But or had they kept Bianca, Naomi, and Jade together as like a trio throughout this whole year, then you could easily just transition into Bianca and Naomi defending. But since they haven't gone that route, then yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Chelsea did that a couple times, and her partner got injured, and she kept the belt and just got a new. I think that's how her and Piper ended up as
champions. Yeah, because I forgot who she originally won it with.
But
it worked because
that wasn't a Freebird rule situation.
No, but it worked for her in case because it was like a comedy type situation.
Sure.
Like,
I mean, so they could do whatever they wanted to. I didn't know that it was out there what they had decided to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much figured they were going to go the strip her of the title route. That's the only one that really seems to make any kind of sense. Because I don't want to see.
I wonder if they're going to tell us right away who did it, or they're going to drag that out. Because, you would think if she's not out, or maybe they'll make it so long that when they reveal it was Bianca, we'll have forgotten that makes absolutely no fucking sense. Because, like, if she's out 3 months, that's February. That's build up to Mania time. And they're either not going to do
and post-Rumble
Bianca, and they're going to do Jade and whoever injured her, right?
Right.
Or Bianca's the one who injured her, and they're both the same story. But it doesn't make any sense for it to have been Bianca.
It doesn't make any sense unless the injury happened before and nobody discovered the body until the match happened. Mm-hmm. Like we get some video segment of them.
But still, she cost herself. It cost her the U.S. or shot at the U.S. title, and now it's cost her tag title.
Sure, and I'm not advocating that that's the route they go with Bianca doing it. But if this, long rumored or long speculated on from the fans, Bianca heel turn is to happen,
right?
This would damn sure be the way to pull it off.
Like I said earlier, I think Bayley and Naomi are the 2 main suspects.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it could be heels.
Yeah. My only issue with those 2 is Bayley's still in her appreciation phase. Granted, the babyface run has kind of started to get a little bit stagnant.
Yeah, I don't
know that I'm ready to see her go back to being a heel, though.
Right.
And that's Naomi,
it's Naomi.
Yeah. Naomi, I just haven't. I have a hard time seeing Naomi as a heel personally. And maybe she's done great heel work in the past that I'm just unaware of. But right now with her and the whole glow thing, that would be like they'd have to do a complete revamp of her if she's going to turn heel.
Oh,
like whole new theme and all that.
I think they could do something similar to like when Bayley cut down her inflatable men, right? They could have the glow thing come up and just go dark or something,
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know.
I think she needs some kind of shakeup, though, man. I think she's fucking stagnant, and I like her a lot, but she hasn't done fucking anything. Except lose a couple title matches.
And I think I just think there's space for Naomi to get a push as a face. I don't think she necessarily just needs a heel turn out of stagnation. I think she just needs something compelling and interesting to actually do, other than being like Bayley's homegirl or the third one in the big 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think there's still space for her. Like, who knows? Creative might not even know right now who the hell they're gonna.
Yeah,
they have pegged. They could just be right now, still just making this up as they go along. They were like, "All right, well, she injured. We got to write her out. All right, cool, she out. We'll figure it out then." So it could be completely there could be no person that attacked Jade at this point in time. There could like literally be who's attacked Jade Cargill. Nobody's attacked her as of yet because they literally have not come up with the storyline yet, and we'll see how things play up when she's ready to come back. If it's 3 months or something at later,
Right.
And so now they'll just gonna leave everybody marinating on the was it her? Who done it? And they may just play that up until, they get the okay, like, all right, Jade is good to go. She'll be back in like, a month or 3 weeks. And like, okay, now we need to start figuring shit out. What's the lay of the land? How's the women's division look? What do we need to do with so-and-so or who? And then they decide on who's going to actually be the person and then go with that storyline.
Yeah. Hardy Boys re-signed with TNA Impact Wrestling. I think I kind of saw that coming. Also, former Xia Li, known now as Li Yingli. She used to be Xia Li, and now she works for TNA. It's always good to see TNA picking up some good WWE former wrestlers. So, who do you guys think are the betting odds right now? The current favorites to win the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble.
Men's Rumble? 25?
Roman Reigns.
Not even in the top. Roman Reigns is in the top 5.
Wait, you're asking like, actual odds, not who?
Yeah. Actual odds right now.
Who actually has the best odds?
Who actually right now? Like Roman Reigns is 4th on that list.
4th on that list. I'm gonna say that's the person with the number 1 odds. If like Vegas odds right now is probably. I know it ain't Jey Uso. Much as I wish it was. Probably not.
He's
Randy Orton.
No, and Randy Orton's pretty far down. Wow, I have
John
to scroll
Cena.
down pretty far. Randy Orton is 33-1 right now.
God damn. What that means?
All right, who you got, Doyle?
John Cena.
Damn! Did you look it up? You son of a bitch.
No. I thought of what a stupid person might think. Oh.
Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah. 15-4 over 375. Yeah, and then
My next
would be
guess would have been The Rock.
Yeah. Rock is 3, 6-1. Punk is number 2, 4-1. We also have Roman Reigns. I'll just go down. Gunther, Seth Rollins, Jay, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, KO, Cody Rhodes, 25-1. LA Knight, Stone Cold Steve Austin at 25-1 betting odds. Dominic Mysterio, Brock Lesnar, Logan Paul. Then you got Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio again, Sami Zayn, Sheamus, Solo Sikoa, Goldberg at 40-1. AJ Styles, Braun Breaker, The Miz, Triple H, who's been retired, 50-1. Apollo Crews, 75-1. Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Akira Tozawa, 100-1 odds. Alex Shelley, Andrade, Angel Garza, Angelo Dawkins, Ashante the Adonis, Austin Theory, Berto, Bronson Reed, who's currently in this pay-per-view, is
so now we're in
100-1 odds.
odds.
Brutus Creed, Carlito, Carmelo Hayes, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Chris Sabin, Cruz Del Toro, Dexter Lewis, Dragon Lee, Elton Prince, Eric Rowan.
Yeah, none of those guys have realistic odds.
Yeah, it just keeps going down. Kofi Kingston, 100-1 odds, all the way down to the very bottom. Jake Paul, 200-1 odds. Right underneath Uncle Howdy, 100-1. Wow. Anyway, speaking of list, Doyle brought this up. on the Discord. ESPN has unveiled its 30 best wrestlers under 30 list. Of the 30 ranked, 8 are from WWE, while 12 represented AEW. The top 10 include number 1. Now we'll do 10. We'll do number 10. 10, Shato Umino, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Number 9, Daniel Garcia. Number 8, Kyle Fletcher. Number 7, Jack Perry. Number 6, Konosuke Takashita. I'm so murdering these fucking names. Number 5, Maria May. Number 4, Rhea Ripley. Number 3, Tony Storm. Number 2, MJF. And number 1, ranked best wrestler under 30 is Dirty Dom himself.
Damn.
Dirty Dom.
Damn right.
Dirty Dom. And you know what? Per the character, and the I'm all for it. That guy was this adorable child that got fought over in a ladder match, and then later, won the tag team titles with his father. It was moving. It was great. I mean, not many, kids can grow up to be wrestlers and win tag titles with their fathers. And then, bam, fucking turned heel, became part of a stable, and then turned heel on top of turning heel, and he gets the hot ladies. Like, Dom.
Don't forget the mustache.
And the stash. The Dirty Sanchez stash. I'll tell you what.
Come on,
A
don't be crazy.
mustache. You can't forget about the mustache.
The mustache.
That's what made Dirty Dom dirty.
Yeah. And now, I would like to get to what I've been wanting to talk about this whole episode. I know, it's not huge, but next week is the 10-year New Day reunion, right? It's exciting because I'm expecting to see Big E come back, not to wrestle, just to come back and be at least in the squared circle again and be behind a microphone that's live and not be at a panel, at a kickoff show. Like, I want to see the three of them together. I want to see the three of them come out. And, you know what? I don't think that's going to happen. I think poor Big E is going to come back and he's going to realize that the New Day just might not be anymore. I'm going to play this promo from Raw this week. The New Day lost a tag match. Was it a tag match against, oh my God. If there was ever a breaking point that would ever get any tag team to break up, is Team Alpha Academy. Otis and Akira, I can't even say his name right. Akira Tozawa pinning you clean. Former, I don't even know anymore. 10-time tag champions. It was ridiculous. And it finally reached the boiling point. And I'll be honest, I've wanted it for a very long time. Xavier Woods, full heel. Oh God, give this man a microphone, let him go full heel, and to make it believable. I mean, we've seen the New Day as heels, right? It's hard to think about it, but go back. There was a point when the New Day were heels. And I like them as their heel run, but I especially like Xavier Woods as a heel. And if the feud is going to start with him and Kofi, and we're going to get Xavier Woods maybe in the mid-card range, getting a mid-card title eventually, let's let him go on his own. But let me play this promo for you.
Why did you even listen to me? What are you talking about? What is this, man?
What the hell was that out there? You're wrestling like garbage. Are you gonna help me at some point?
I'm wrestling like if I was garbage, what were you? You talking about help you? Have I not done everything but help you? That's all I've ever done. Did I not give you my Intercontinental title shot a couple weeks ago for you? Matter of fact, when you were King of the Ring, I was on bended knee, flooding your damn cake. I did that for you. And what did you do with those opportunities, by the way? You fumbled the title shot, and you fumbled the crown. There's a reason that E and I never let you call the shots, man. Because you're too reckless out there, man. You take too many unnecessary risks.
Unnecessary risks
out there.
Shut up and let me talk for a second.
Damn.
Unnecessary risk. I remember when you were too terrified to take any kind of risk, and that's exactly why you couldn't get a shot at the heavyweight championship until I came along. And I took those risks for you, Kof. I'm the reason you became champion.
You're the reason that I became champion. Nah, man. I was a Hall of Famer when you met me. That's why you asked me to be a part of this group, not the other way around. Don't you ever forget that. And you, of all people, shouldn't be talking about championships and titles, because last time I checked, you still haven't won a singles championship by yourself, now have you? Damn! What? Do you know why you have never been a world champion like me and like E? It's because you have not been good enough. And that is not my fault.
Good enough, huh? I was good enough to fight for you, wasn't I? I was good enough to take your beatings for you, wasn't I? I was good enough to believe in you, wasn't I? Just like they believed in you. And what did we do with that belief? We turned it into Kofi Mania and we handed it to you. And what did you do with that, Kofi? You pissed it away on a silver platter in 6 seconds to Brock Lesnar.
Damn! I swear to God, if you were anybody
If I
else...
was what, Kofi? If I was somebody else, you'd finally get mad?
I see you at the reunion. Brother.
Yeah. See you at the anniversary.
That feels like the cliff's edge of a relationship.
Damn.
Now, see, you hear that and you think that Xavier Woods is going to turn heel. But I hear that and I think, God damn it, would it be so much more fun if Kofi turns heel?
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. You're looking at the glass half empty. I'm looking at it half full. You know?
Yeah, except for the fact that they've been playing Xavier in the heel role for a couple of weeks now. I don't know what Kofi would have to. Yeah, but I don't know what Kofi would have to do to get the crowd to turn on him.
Mm-hmm.
Given the way the storyline's been playing out for the last couple of weeks. Kofi's been the one that's been talking with everybody backstage. He's been the one that's been getting along with everybody. And Xavier's been the one that's, been flying off the deep end and doing the irrational things and tagging himself in the match unnecessarily and doing the heel tactics in the ring.
I don't know, if he goes off on Big E, that might get the job done. That might get the boo birds out.
If Big E's willing to take some physicality, it would have to take some physicality. I don't think he could just yell at E and everybody be like, "Hey man, watch your mouth, boo."
He just comes back, he announces he's coming, he's like, he's been cleared, medically cleared, and then Xavier takes him right out again. And he's like, "Oh, my fucking neck. The doctor said I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm just done." Like, we'd be so pissed off.
My guess is that this...
What a swerve.
I was going to say, I don't think it's likely, but that's certainly a possibility, too, that Big E announces he's cleared and they're back to being a trio again. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's a possibility.
No,
that'd be one hell of a damn announcement. But obviously, I'm pretty certain we're going to get Big E in this segment. My guess is that they come out.
They've already filmed stuff for it.
Film stuff for the reunion segment?
Yes, with all three of them.
What do you know that we don't know?
Hold up. Isn't next week's Raw live?
Yeah, but there's going to be, they're going to show a montage of...
Yeah. I was talking about the in-ring segment itself.
Oh, I think they've already said that he's going to be there. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but as far as how it plays out, he has to be there. There's no way they do a 10-year reunion without him there. But my guess is I don't think all three of them come out together. I think they initially come out as just Xavier and Kofi, considering that's kind of what they've put on the graphics and stuff, is that just them two. But rather than them coming out like the typical celebrating yada yada, they come out with there being clear tension there. And they probably pop off again at each other, and then Big E's gonna come out, probably to a huge ovation.
Yeah,
and he tries to play the mediator between the two, or the peacemaker, and get them back on the same page, and yada yada. And then something happens that finally breaks it. I don't know if Big E can. I don't think he's gonna announce that he's medically cleared, but I wonder if he's well enough to take like a bump or a hit. Maybe if it's not maybe not a full back bump, but like take a hit. Like, Xavier hits him in the back with the mic and he falls to the ground. I wonder if he could do that, because that would be the thing to definitely certified heel for whoever attacks him, and then that would definitely be the final nail in the coffin that they're broken up. There are no more.
Well, they could use him as bait too. Didn't when Edge was still out? Didn't somebody put him put his neck in a chair and threaten to do something to him?
Yeah, Seth Rollins. You come any closer, I'm gonna kill him. All right, and he's like,
they could use him in that.
Yeah, it was like John Cena's like, screw it, I'm gonna kill him anyway. And then he went to go stomp the chair on his neck. Oh, God, sweet. That's what I mean. Like, they're gonna play on that. They're gonna play on Big E's injury. Like, definitely. Like, whether it's he announces that he's medically cleared and then Xavier immediately takes him out. Like, that would piss so many people off, because, like, oh my God, he's back. He's back. Oh my God, he is never wrestling again. He is never wrestling again. Or it's like he's still injured, very much like the Edge segment, how Seth Rollins got over. It's like you attacked a man who can't defend himself because he medically just can't. It's just, I don't know. Either way, Big E's he ain't gonna have fun.
Yeah, but it's all dependent on him having some sort of level of medical clearance. Because I mean, even if he's not cleared to compete or wrestle or something, he still has to be medically cleared to take a certain level of physicality.
Right.
Which so far is still not a thing for him to have any physicality whatsoever. Now, maybe that's something that WWE's been keeping very close to the chest and keeping very well guarded. That's always a possibility. They seem to be getting a little bit better at keeping certain secrets in-house at times when they really want to. So, yeah, we can't rule it out, but I would put the odds at less than 50%.
Yes, I think that's fair.
Yeah. The
real question I would say is, when we do finally get the inevitable Kofi versus Xavier match, do they respect that shit enough to put it on a PLE?
They fucking better, dude.
Or is it just a random fucking Raw match?
Nah, that can't be a fucking Raw match. That's gotta be a PLE match. It's gotta be.
It should be. It deserves to be.
Match. I mean, I don't know if you can put it off that long.
I mean, what other tag teams have we seen recently? We saw the Usos break up, and they had I feel like if the Usos got their singles match, we're gonna get a New Day singles match, right?
Well, yeah, the match is going to happen. Yeah,
I'm talking like on a pay-per-view, because the Usos got theirs on a pay-per-view.
Are the Usos, and they were Bloodline. So no, they had been in the main event scene or close to the main event scene for the longest. So that match had.
I was just saying, we never got Otis Gable at all,
right?
Pay-per-view or not.
Damn, yeah, talk about that. Yeah, like
Jimmy
a storyline
has always been Jimmy versus Jay has always been a dream match anyway. So that had PLE written all over it from the jump, even if it turned out to be probably one of the worst or most disappointing matches of 2024.
I mean, you're also talking about one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
That as well. Xavier
not
versus
like
Kofi.
if Austin Theory and Grayson Waller broke up and had a match,
Yeah, Xavier versus Kofi. Really, this backstage interaction that they had this past Monday is probably the most interesting thing that's happened so far in this whole downward spiral that they've been on. They've been telling the story for a while.
Going on for a while. Yeah.
Right. But it hasn't really picked up any real momentum or anything that's really gotten a rise out of the audience or gotten them invested until this past Monday. Mm-hmm. And now it's a matter of, can they build on that momentum? Can they take that further? Or are they just going to squander the investment that people now have based on that promo? And are we just going to get some mediocre, middling thing that doesn't, capitalize on its potential?
Yeah, it's fucking true, man.
Good question.
Yeah, I'm excited to fucking see how this turns out. I really am. It's been a long build. It's something I never thought would happen, to be honest. Yeah. That's really all I got for news. I don't know if you guys want to chit chat about anything else. Anything else that's bothering you about the wrestling world?
Bothering me?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's I know Red 1 is in theaters right now. I heard it's not doing so hot. It's not.
Oh, it's bombing, I thought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's bombing terribly. And but at the same time, Moana 2 just came out. I think it literally premiered in theaters tonight. So
yeah.
Yeah, but Rock isn't exactly on a hot streak, regardless.
Yeah, he's not on a hot streak, but if Moana 2 does anything close to what Moana 1 does, everybody will forget all about them damn duds.
Yeah, it's fucking true, dude. And the live action right around the corner.
Then Moana 2 happened.
Yeah. And you got the live action right around the corner, so.
Yeah, don't take much in Hollywood to get back on top after you fall a little bit.
Nope.
One great movie can wipe out a whole bunch of crappy ones.
Yeah, that's fucking true. You'll wash that taste of Black Adam out of our mouths still.
Mm-hmm. So. I still never saw that.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Just like me, I haven't seen Morbius yet, and I haven't seen Madam's Web, and I'm like trying to keep it that way.
Yeah, I refuse to waste time on that movie.
Just like there's a bunch of new live action Disney movies. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go see it. I will go see How to Train Your Dragon. I will go see Lilo and Stitch, but I will not go see Snow White. So, just pick and choose which ones I think are garbage and which ones I don't think are.
Pretty much. I mean, honestly, I think the only live-action Disney movie I have seen was The Jungle Book.
I love The Lion King. The Lion King's, I love it, and I think Aladdin was okay.
Nope, haven't seen any of them.
Man.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am here for the fucking Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. Cool shit. All right. You guys, Dre, you got anything you want to plug?
Nothing at the moment. Like I said, always follow us on Instagram.com/PCW podcast and always check for us in the Discord.
Doyle.
Yeah, I'm just always in the Discord and like and subscribe to the Facebook page. And rest in peace to Ronnie Bullets.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, I'm in the Discord as Semi-Dry Chicken. You can also find me on Twitter and our Twitter page. And I am on Facebook now. So I'm adding more people on Facebook because now I'm talking about wrestling and promoting our show on Facebook as well. With that said, let's end the show with...
I think that egg is ready to blow! Oh, there it is! What is it? What in the world? Oh my God! What in the world is this?
You are the world's dumbest son of a bitch!
fact that day in and day out, for almost 6 years, I have proved to everybody in the world that I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary. Nobody can touch me.
You are not ready for Oscar!
Because the Street Profits are up and we want the smoke.
You're next! Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
New day!
Cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah, Macho Madness here.
Welcome to the Kevin Owens Show.
Lately, he just hasn't been very oozy.
Because I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome.
Those rotten bastards.
Bye-bye, bitch.